Welcome back to the White Time channel. Today, Kara Jackson. Why does the earth give us people to love? Wheel.
Classic whale.
No funny stuff.
No funny stuff. I have not tinkered with it at all.
Meh. Didn't you get that last time?
Okay, a meh. I sure did. Season 2 men a row. Okay, let's go down to my wheel.
Ooh.
Oh,
Let's do
you can get
Yardian.
rid of Slowpoke. Get out of here. You know what? I'll give you a gift because last time you were aching for Kara Jackson, and I
Let's
think
go.
let's do it.
Let's go. We're back. This is a Jerry pick, and one of the rare Jerry picks that he has not heard and has
Yeah,
little
yeah.
info on, actually. So,
Yes, yes. I think I've heard the first couple of songs. It might have just like one of them might have come up after finishing a singer songwriter folk album. I'm like, oh, that was pretty good. I'll just add it to my wheel and we'll get to it. And then the last couple of times we've landed on that meh, you've mentioned that you've wanted to do this record. And I'm like, okay, well, then let's do it. So that's why we're here. I know nothing about them. I know that like weren't they like the poet laureate of some
yeah,
sort?
I think so. Um, yeah, she was the third U.S. National Youth Poet Laureate
Very
recently.
impressive.
So,
Yeah.
interesting. But yeah, this was one that I've been meaning to check out. A lot of people, I saw a lot of buzz about it last year when it came out, and a lot of music channels I watch mentioned it as one of the best ones of the year. So
Oh.
I'm definitely excited for it. I feel like we've both very much been in the singer songwriter folk realm lately too. So I think just keep piling them on is fine. Um, well, it's good for the channel. I think we're both enjoying them a lot, and we're getting a lot out of them. We just had Toxicity, so watch Toxicity if you want something that's a little bit more high energy.
That's true.
And yeah, but I am very excited for it. I'm liking that we don't have a lot of info on it either. I think going in blind to a record every once in a while is fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been looking forward to this for a while.
All right. Then let's just jump in. Probably do the first two tracks with recognized and then no fun slash party.
Some people get high to be recognized. Some people roll dice to be recognized. Some people look nice to be recognized. Some people use knives to be recognized. Lot of people gonna die to be recognized. When searching for a reason, he could only find one. He said, "You're just no fun. You're just no fun." And if seeing you naked wasn't such a bargain, it would be a home run. It would be a home run. Don't feel sorry for showing up tardy. Don't be sorry for missing the party. 'Cause somebody's party is missing you too.
All right. That was recognized and no fun party.
Fantastic. I'm not going to talk about Recognized much because it is a nice little intro. But I mean, it is really just like a getting into the record, setting up some nice themes.
Yeah.
But No Fun and Slash Party is fantastic. I love that. This was this kind of mix of more ambient and folk and chamber and all these things. I love how she just lets the instrumental breathe. We have these amazing string sections and builds, and her voice works so well with them. Have some like Frank Ocean esque harmonies too on these bridge sections that were really nice, having that lower register and that higher register kind of coming together.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think vocally, I love her voice. It's very unique. It's got this really nice, deep, almost soulful tone to it. And even just switching up into the banjo and like that really like lo-fi mix at the end was a really, really nice kind of way to break up the track. But yeah, I was just floating throughout the whole thing of that. I don't have a lot to talk about lyrics wise right now, but yeah, that sounded fantastic.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think I'll talk a little bit lyrics wise. Nothing really breaking down, but I do kind of want to like spotlight that she has this like really nuanced view of relationships and love, which is kind of
Hmm.
crazy for someone her age. I mean, she's right around our age, and I don't even think I'm close to figuring that out. Um, but the way that she writes about it is so. I mean, there's a lot of like it's very poetic, a lot of flowery metaphors, whatever, but it's also just like immediately recognizable. It isn't like
Hmm.
so deep like sometimes Sufjan does that where he like includes references to like different mythological figures and you have to
Yeah.
like do some research. This isn't really like that.
Hmm.
It's
It's more like a
accessible.
Lucy Dacus.
Yeah, it's like a Lucy
Yeah.
Dacus, and I think her voice too is really really nice to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
The deep kind of smoky uh, timbre it's got reminds me a lot of like the lower register of Nina Simone.
Mm-hmm.
So that one was a big win for me, and recognized was pretty good
Historical.
too. But No Fun Party is
Syndrome.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
So let's move on to track three, which is Dickhead Blues.
Let's go.
Yeah. What up, Kara? Happy birthday, sweet sweet. I know you probably turned it up, but just wanted to wish you happy birthday and talk to you for a minute. I hope it's a good one, baby. I hope you look like your show went well. Keep killing them. Smack a white man. I'll talk to you later. Peace.
Damn the dickhead blues. When your time becomes somebody else's refuge. Damn the dickhead blues. Make a vacation out of you. Damn the dickhead blues. When you're stuck sinking in someone else's lagoon. Like a spoon drowns in a stew. What kind of meal are they making of you? Thinking Cupid calls for you. End up gum on someone's shoe. Makes me feel like I don't have a clue. If I had a heart, if I had a heart. If I had a heart, if I had a heart. I know where to start, I know where to start. I know where to start, I know where to start. If I had a heart, if I had a heart. If I had a heart, if I had a heart. I know where to start, I know where to start. I know where to start, I know where to start. If I had a heart, if I had a heart. If I had a heart, if I had a heart. I know where to start, I know where to start. I know where to start, where to start. If I had a heart, if I had a heart. If I had a heart, if I had a heart. I'm not as worthless as I once thought. I am pretty top notch. I am pretty top notch. I am pretty top notch. I'm useful.
All right. That was Dickhead Blues.
Fantastic. Yeah, getting a lot more like Fiona Apple, Joanna Newsom type vibes on that, which I'm really liking. I love kind of folk singer songwriters that do break that mold and go very artsy and different with it. I think just like her vocals leading the track and the instrumental just there to accompany her, it was really cool because she's leading and the instrumentals follow to kind of build that more dynamic and mix as we go. I think that's really cool. I'm loving the string sections. Even just that for like the first half of like that kind of cliche kind of sound that you'll hear before it drops in songs, and using that as like a nice ambient piece to get into the track was really 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 nice. Vocals are incredible. I love the lyrical content of like falling out of love in a relationship and then feeling like something's wrong with you, or like you're not yourself, but at the same time trying to tell yourself that you are useful to someone, and this is like not you know you as a whole person. It's kind of this falling out of a relationship that is really really nice. The way she's putting it's so poetic, and like you can tell in her enunciation that she knows poetry like the back of her hand, because like the number of syllables and everything in these verses to make the words as pretty as possible. It's like you don't need to cover everything in metaphor if you have words just come out that pretty. But yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like a little bit iffy on the song at first, where it was kind of like bare bones. Like I really love the production on that second song. I'm like, oh, I kind of wanted more blues, and then it kind of got there. A little bit of blues mixed with like jazz drumming, which was really great. And then there's that like end of White Ferrari thing that they were doing in that refrain that was phenomenal. I was kind of blown away. I didn't know that she would have that in her, especially since this is a debut record. To pull that out
Yeah.
on your first go is kind of crazy. But yeah, I was also really drawn to the lyrics. I thought, I mean, I think this is going to be her main draw, is her lyrical content, and it's great. So, yeah, very, very good start. We might have another twofer on our hands with track 4, Therapy, and then track 5, Pawn Shop.
Every man thinks I'm his fucking mother. Good for milk and good for supper. Never asked if I can be his lover. Special someone when he suffers. He wants me. He wants therapy. When you become somebody's bandit and their heart becomes your loot, what kind of player does that make you? Breaking your hearts and selling them too. You picked me in a pawn shop. I was used but good as new. Shiny as a tattoo, but permanent as party balloons.
That was Therapy and Pawn Shop.
Amazing. Therapy is a great little interlude. I think just touching on how a lot of men get into relationships and don't know how to handle themselves at all because men growing up in a society don't really have a lot of options, and especially you can get red pilled and like there's so fast through so many different things, and
Mm,
oftentimes what men need are just help and therapy and not a relationship, but that's just how it works out. I think it's a
yep.
great thing to cover in this little minute track. Pawn Shop's incredible. I love the country and Americana twist that she added in here. The mixes and the instrumentals are so great and so fun, and it gives you that Frank Ocean vibe that you don't really get from a lot of music. A lot of
Hmm.
people try to mimic it, but it's very very hard to reach it, and I think she does here. Just those soaring guitars, her vocals are incredible. That whole verse too of "You picked me in a pawn shop, I was used but good as new, shiny as a tattoo, but permanent as party balloons" is amazing. I love switching the tattoo and party balloons. Like the line could work both ways, but the symbolism changes when you swap them, and I think that's phenomenal. So yeah,
Yeah.
very very good.
Yeah, I do want to say I know we both brought up Frank Ocean and comparisons, but it doesn't feel derivative at all.
Exactly.
Um,
It gives you the feeling, but the music is completely different.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's like a Frank Ocean twist. It's like a
Hmm.
cocktail where Frank Ocean is just one of the ingredients. But man, yeah, I want to highlight the vocal runs that she was doing on Therapy. I was not expecting. I mean, talented vocalist, but not very like flashy. She kind of gets the job done. It's not a
Hmm.
detriment at all because I think it perfectly complements the music. But when she was like pulling out those runs, I'm like, okay, okay, you kind of got it. You know, but you also know when to pull back and let the words do the speaking, which is very impressive to kind of have that restraint. So I wanted to just give a little shout out to that because I thought that was really, really well done. So yeah, but yeah, I also love Pawn Shop. That was a great song. I don't really have much to add besides what you said, but very good. So we'll move on. Track 6 is Brain. Song is done by Little Dicky.
Brian, little Dicky cover.
The rolling credits in my mind make me so aware of time. I have so many hours to waste. Call in your brain down from space. Sleep isn't cheap, and your love is no currency. You've gotta tell me you're ready, so I can sleep already.
All right, that was Brain.
Very good. I'm gonna run out of things to say in this review. I can already tell. It's just gorgeous. Like I'm already loving this thing. It's so good and consistent, but like the variety is great. I love the country influence again on here. Anytime you take this country influence and you throw that chamber pop like thing into it, like a wise blood or something like that, is like one of my favorite things.
Mhm.
And again, I think the spacing on this record is my favorite thing. Is like her words have weight, and you're like waiting for the next line, and the instrumentals just do so good, it's like such a good job of like keeping your interest and just kind of having you float there. Um, yeah, I love the slide guitar on it. I love the kind of like descending organ line at the last part, just like throwing in those textures and everything so perfectly. And yeah, just her delivery, just like the variety of it. She knows to take her time. It just gets you so invested in the music. So that one was one of my favorites.
Yeah, me too. I man, I don't know why I was like not expecting her to be as vocally talented as she is. She has like an insane low register. I
I know.
was like, whoa. I don't know if I've ever heard a female vocalist go that low and not kind of slip into something like raspy.
Hmm.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. That one was so good. And like, I love the line sleep isn't cheap and your love is no currency. That's just beautiful and poignant. It's so good. Yeah. This is like way better than I thought it was going to be. So, wow. All right, we got another long boy on our hands. We got Free, track 7.
When you're good and free, don't you bother me. When I've cleaned my sheets, don't come calling to see. I'm not so motherly. I won't kiss your cheek. I'm sure you're someone's baby, but it ain't me. No, it ain't me. You see, I'm free. I'm free. I'm free. I'm free.
Ooh, right down to the wire, that one. It was Free.
Fantastic. Yeah. Again, just like I don't believe this is your debut record. There's so many things that are just so. It seems like you need so much experience to do these things well, and she's just killing it every track. The slow instrumental with the steady drum line, and just like there's little flourishes here and there to keep you interested and drive it forward, but it's very minimal. Lets her voice do the work, and it's so fantastic. Again, the lyrics just touching on kind of the same things as therapy and just expanding on it. But again, her nuanced, mature look at relationships is just so good. You feel her every word. She like the way songs set up her vocal just makes it that much better. The chorus is phenomenal, and then obviously that outro, you finally have all this tension releasing with these like just dissonant strings coming in. You have these great arpeggiated harps. Like everything is just so gorgeous and luscious, and it like gets you to that emotional point that she's been setting up for the 7 minute track. It's just like textbook phenomenal. This being your first record is just like you could just do this one song and I'm like I'm gonna be so impressed with it because this is just like such a feat to do on your first record. It's crazy. But yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. I think I like that one. I would say it's probably my least favorite one so far. I don't think that's necessarily a surprise to anybody. Um, but that's not to say that like I don't like songs like these, but I do think that like for a song as long as this, for like one big build, I've liked songs like these before. I just would have liked a little bit more in the end. Like I like that
Mm.
outro, but man, that's like when you go off. That's when you do that big explosion of sound. I want a big climax when it comes to a song like this. And while there was a climax here, it wasn't quite the high that I was wanting for how long it took to get there. Not necessarily a bad thing, but just not for me. But I still liked it. I mean, the lyrical quality is still there. You know, I thought that the instrumentation, although sparse for most of it, was pretty well done. I liked the weird like freeform sax that's just kind of like hiding in the background. I was
Yeah.
trying to tell like it sounded familiar. I'm like, is this sampled from To Pimp a Butterfly? Because it kind of sounds like the same kind of movements, but I don't think it
Mhm.
is. Yeah, I don't know. Those are my thoughts on that one. We can just move on to track 8, Lily.
Lily, what your mind can see, what your mouth can sing, what your hands can weave, everlasting, everlasting. You and I both know how this goes. I have to leave my home, and you have to leave your own for that Minnesota cold. Lily, Lily,
All right, that was Lily.
I feel like there's not nearly enough plays on any of these songs, to be honest. Like, what's happening here? Like, for being honest with ourselves,
Yeah,
this is so high quality and just put together so well. And it's a debut record from last year, one that I didn't even like really hear about from the big areas. It was all like smaller channels talking about it. Um, but yeah, again, the feelings of these tracks are incredible. The way it sets a tone and atmosphere, and you can tell that they're going for this push and pull and this energy to come through. But it's like it hits you differently every time. I love like having the guitar start incredibly simple as a percussive element, and you start with these very muted brass instruments, and as the song goes on, it gets a little bit louder. The guitar switches into a different pattern, and her vocals just carry this instrumental through. Like the outro is just absolutely gorgeous with the harmonies and the backing vocals and the strings. It's all just so well placed. Yeah, incredible.
yeah, yeah. I think that one might be my favorite, honestly. I think this is her best vocal performance. She was whipping out
Hmm.
those Frank Ocean smooth runs. And man, it fit the song so well. I think the story of a relationship of some sort being pulled apart by inevitable distance is pretty relatable, especially for people our age who are younger and have moved apart from people from high school. It's kind of sad, but also it's like, well, it's this kind of open new chapter, and so there's a lot of hope in the song, in the instrumentation. It isn't like dour and sad, but yeah, it's this kind of bittersweet love song, and I thought it was done really, really well. So very, very nice. All right, we have an almost 8-minute song next that's called Rat.
Let's go. Hotel California.
Maybe.
Take the story of Rat who's headed west. His buddy once told him he likes the girls their best. Centuries of singers, men who pay their rent. Waxing poetic of a woman's innocence. Rap was batshit and barely played a lick. He took to the highway high off headiness. He and his woman saw through an awful split. The road is only hope of falsifying it. Come on, come on, come on down. Come on, come on down. The wheels will turn your weary around. At home, his woman carves another kind of casket. The kind he gladly climbs and closes himself in.
All right, that was Rat.
Fantastic. Wow, there's a lot. Okay. I think this is just me going off. I think the Hotel California interpolation similarity is very intentional with the way the song flows out, and I think that's what makes it so good. This kind of flipping of the Hotel California song, which is basically just like musicians moving to California and getting trapped in the music industry and all the dark sides that come with that, and then kind of flipping it to make a story of like a character who's like doing that and going to California to try to make it big, but in reality, he's just like running away from his home life and running away from his partner. And the kind of like way that breaks down throughout the song, and getting that darker angle to it. It's really phenomenal. I love the flip on it. I think the instrumental builds on this track again were great. I love that. Free was very much a different long song where it is very much like a very ambient and slow build. This one had a lot of action throughout it, and I thought it was great. But yeah, I think the interpolation of that is fantastic. I don't know if that was the intention, but it definitely seems that way, especially with the way the song's written. But again, I'm hanging on her every word, and that's like the number one thing when it comes to being a vocalist is like, do I care what you're saying enough to dig into it this deep immediately? And I do for literally all of these songs because she is such a compelling lyricist, and her delivery is fantastic. So, yeah, that one's great.
Yes, I agree. Um, yeah, I definitely agree that this is more or less an interpolation of the Hotel California story, which is probably one of my favorite songs ever, the live version. The Hell Freezes Over version of Hotel California is probably, in my opinion, one of the best songs of all time. Um, and I'm also a sucker for a storytelling track like this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, like on Born and Raised, that John Mayer album, my favorite song is Walt Grace. It's a longer title, but if you know, you know. Uh, and I just love these types of tracks where it's just like a flip, or it's more like a traditional bard's tale. And I'm just such a sucker for that, you know. Bringing music back to its roots of like storytelling and that kind of oral history. I am a big,
Mm-hmm.
big fan of. And I think something like this, kind of taking that Hotel California idea and kind of bringing it to the modern day, also incorporating a little bit of like supernatural elements where like his ex is like a witch who's like
Curse
doing
on it.
curses on him, which I think is just kind of fun. I mean, Hotel California also kind of does, but it's more
True.
metaphorical.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's up there. It's probably top 3 on this album, honestly. So yeah, we kind of got a run here. 3 long songs in a
Mm-hmm.
row. Next up, we have the title track. Why does the earth give us people to love?
Lowercase. Different than the album title.
Oh, it's different?
Yeah. Lowercase.
Oh, of course.
Why does the earth give us people to love, then take them away out of reach? Why does the earth make us fill up the church when the answers are beneath our feet? I've buried old and young, I've watched them lower as sane. We're only waiting our turn. Call that living. We were going to start a band, hijack my folks' minivan, actualize our silly plans. The lifelines written in our hands. I'll make a promise to you then. If we can never sing again, you sing those high notes high, my friend. I'll sing the low notes in the
Okay, that was Why Does the Earth Give Us People to Love?
Masterpiece. That was so good. This album is ridiculous. I don't know what to say anymore. Yeah, incredible. I forgot to mention this album was dedicated to her friend who died of cancer, which is what this song is about. So knowing that before listening was definitely nice to know. I forgot to tell that. It's so good though. I mean, the way she writes her songs so plainly and bluntly, but at the same time it has this great poetic angle to it. It's just so relatable in anything she's talking about. And just the first couple of verses before she really got into specifics in the third verse just did a great job of setting up like this cosmic dance and the cyclical nature of life and death. I've been deep into Mount Erie's catalog, and this has just been top of mind for the past 3 months. So like really digging into this stuff. And having a song like this that is definitely more like pulled back and a little bit less specific, but still touches on these themes of death. It's really phenomenal. Even just like down to the talking about like why is paying for a funeral and a casket so expensive? Like it doesn't leave you when you die or anything. Just like these cycles and this business of death that she touches on in the second verse, and then just the specifics of the third verse. It's heart crushing. It's powerful. It's incredibly moving. The outro is like one of my favorite moments I've had in a long time.
Yeah.
The high notes and the low notes and the way that kind of rides out in the string section is just beautiful. So yeah, phenomenal. This is insane.
Yes, yes. Probably the most beautiful track we've gotten so far. Yeah, I kind of love that this. I mean, maybe Mount Erie is a better comparison, but like it kind of has that like anger that Sufjan has in Carrie and Lowell, although that anger is directed towards himself. In that album, this one is like angry at everyone else. And it's like using Earth as like a metaphor for just human society, maybe capitalist society. It's just, oh, it's so gut wrenching and almost hard to listen to, but at the same time, the instrumentation kind of brings it up.
Gorgeous.
It's so light and yeah, it is gorgeous. And yeah, otherwise I think this song would be really hard to listen to. This almost is something that would be on like A Crow Looked at Me, just in how personal it gets. Not that personal, but like it's almost to that level, getting into specifics. But I will say the palette of the song makes it nice. And I really, really like that one. That one, I think, yeah, it's probably my favorite too. So, big win. All right. Track 11 is Curtains.
I'm afraid this game we played will kill me if I leave its ways. Curtains crafted to create a veil between the bite and bait. Play this game for paper's sake, just to have my name erased. You're not the savior I have paid for, wronged my wallet just to know more. I paid for language and the wages stayed the same as when you're frameless. You're not the savior I
All right, that was Curtains.
Fantastic. This album is too good. I'm
Yeah.
losing it a little bit. Yeah, I love that tuning on the guitar. I don't know what it is, but I love that tone, and I love when they step outside of that signature to get those really eerie, odd movements. I love that. And I love how like it almost has like a medieval feudal kind of vibe to it. Again, like a more like bard sing-songy type atmosphere that I really enjoy. Even the chorus coming down to castles and bringing all that together, I think that chorus is phenomenal. Um, I think the song can be interpreted in different ways, but I think this is a building on the last track of the nature of capitalism and like you can't escape it no matter what you try. And like even though to get better you have to like pay and nothing gets better after you get that skill, you're kind of just forever on this fight against it no matter what you do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved the kind of slow dirge this track was, and just the atmosphere it created was really 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 nice. So fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, man, they're closing out really strong.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love the bass on that. Sounded like a Flea bass or something from Red Hot
Mm.
Chili Peppers, where it's so dark and edgy. A perfect compliment to the last song. But man, that ending was just phenomenal. I'm always a big fan of using a kind of gospel choir in the end, really just
Hmm.
anywhere. So it was just great. Um, yeah, I don't know if I have a whole lot to say. Just very very good. But we only have two songs left, and they're both very short. So we'll do them
Let's
together.
do it.
We have Recognized Reprise and Liquor.
Lot of people gonna die. Lot of people gonna die. Lot of people gonna die. If I had the chance to offer such a sight as when you saw her, then I wouldn't have to wonder why you knocked me off your roster. Can't buy love, so I bought liquor. Sick of cures that make me sicker. Whiskey always wets the winner. In the land of TV dinners, whiskey always wets the winner.
All right. It was Recognized Reprised, Liquor, and the album as a whole.
Very good closer. I think that works really well when you have that barrage of three long songs and then you kind of just like wrap up a couple little things at the end. I think it works really well and it kind of brings you down. Um, yeah, I think Recognize Reprise did a great job of kind of picking up the vibe of the last track and kind of just moving that forward as its own little statement. And I think Liquor was great too. I love the second verse. I think that is just again, it's so simply like it's plain and simple, but the way she says it and just the poeticness of the way she uses syllables and enunciation is just really, really, really satisfying. But yeah, album as a whole, this is phenomenal. Like, I think this is like scarily good for a first record because I'm like, what's going on here? The the way it feels like she's so experienced in putting together tracks in a flow and obviously we know she's a good writer and that's shown like shines through here, but that's one piece of it. The other piece of the instrumentation and everything is like so good too, and it backs her up beautifully. Yeah, it's an incredible album. I think it's one that's going to hit really deep as like we listen to it on our own and kind of form our own thoughts about it a little bit deeper. I think that's the case for most folk records and singer songwriter records that we do on the channel. They're usually ones that I grow into quite a bit, but like off first listen and just getting myself familiar with it, like it is phenomenal. Everything is just so satisfying and feels so like put together and mature and experienced. So yeah, this is phenomenal.
Yeah, I would agree. If I had known about this album last year, I probably would have put it in my top
Pretty high.
five. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, so good. And I think it's kind of interesting because it kind of follows the same kind of, uh, I guess, layout that Javelin had, where you have this really
Mhm.
long shit talk. That's kind of the big climax, a big compilation of all of the themes going on in that record, and then you kind of end it with a little short thing to kind of wrap everything up, a nice little closer. I mean, this one literally just includes lines from the first song to kind of tie everything together. Really well laid out album, and it just sounds so good too. I really appreciate artists that can, they have a lot to say, but they don't necessarily compromise musically to get it out. I can't think of any examples of artists that do that, except one that would get me in trouble. So I'm not going to say that. But yeah, I will say, like, wow, impressive first showing from Kara Jackson. We will definitely be doing whatever she does in the future. I see that
Absolutely.
she released a single last month. I think it's a cover though, so not
Okay.
necessarily a lead into anything, but still something to check out. But yeah, very good. I'm pleasantly surprised. But next time,
Yes, sir.
no wheel. We're
No
going to
wheel.
be doing a newer album. And why don't you tell everybody what it is? Because I don't know the title of it.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing the new Beth Gibbons album, "Lives Outgrown," that just came out this week. Um, I thought I was gonna listen to it on my own, but I'm like, this might be a good one because there's definitely folk elements and psychedelic folk and all that. So I think it'll be a great ride for the channel. And we did purchase that on the channel, so we might as well just do another thing similar to it.
Sure.
Yeah, excited for that one. So that'll be next, and then we'll go back to our normal wheel. We'll probably have a Bon Iver video next pick for me, probably because it's been about a month. Um, so yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of good stuff coming up. Um, yeah. We have a podcast too, if you are interested. We talk about
true.
movies and TV shows and games, whatnot.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans. We did cover the Kendrick Drake beef. I know there's a lot of crossover. I think I made the same joke last
Yes.
time. But we did break that down, I think 2 episodes ago.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'm also watching all the Planet of the Apes movies. So if you're interested in a breakdown, spoiler alert, they might be some of the worst movies I have ever seen in my whole life. um, the old ones. I've not seen the new ones. Just want to throw that out there. But yeah, that's it for us.
I